Good evening. Welcome to House Groups. We are back in the book of Luke this week and on the home stretch as we will get to the resurrection in Luke on Easter Sunday and finish out the book of Luke the first Sunday of May. For right now, though, we are just beginning chapter 23 and we're in the early morning hours of Good Friday, the day of Jesus' death. Jesus, in his fourth trial, was brought by the Jewish leaders to Pontius Pilate, the governor of Judea. Pilate doesn't really see a reason to execute Jesus, and he ends up passing Jesus on to King Herod, who is the ruler of Galilee, where Jesus was from. And Herod is a complex person. We're told in Mark that Herod used to like to go listen to the fiery preaching of John the Baptist. But then John started to personally rebuke Herod because Herod had had an affair with his brother's wife and then married her. And then later, when Herod was backed into a corner by the murderous request of his wife in front of his friends, Herod ended up killing John the Baptist. And now, only a year or two later, as Herod is in front of Jesus, Herod's heart seems hardened. He's not interested in knowing the truth and knowing forgiveness like he maybe once was. And I was struck by a biblical parallel this week as I was studying. Herod is a king who committed adultery and then killed an innocent man to try and quiet the noise of his sin. And how interesting is it that the Bible speaks of another king who did the same thing? In 2 Samuel, we're told that King David had an affair with a woman named Bathsheba. And when David finds out that she's pregnant after being unable to get her husband to come home and be with her, so her husband would think that the kid was his, this is real life trauma, people. David sends Bathsheba's husband to the front lines of battle so he'll be killed in war, and he indeed is killed. But when David is confronted by a prophet of God, the prophet Nathan, David weeps over his sin. He's brokenhearted and he cries out to the Lord for forgiveness. And David is restored. Listen, God is not light on forgiveness. You cannot out-sin his mercy, but you can harden your heart toward his love. What I'm about to say is so biblically important. We have got to be in the discipline of running to God for forgiveness when we sin, and then sitting in his forgiveness. Because if we don't, our hearts will harden. And if we continue to let our hearts harden, soon enough, God's offer of love will fall on our own deaf ears. And soon enough, like Jesus in front of Herod, God will stop talking to us. Because, well, like Herod, we wouldn't listen anyway. So keep your heart soft. Keep coming to God in humility. Bring him your sin and let him forgive it. Amen.